Hi, I'm Ari. Dawn of the Damned. Hello, I am Ari.
I'm Nick.
And fuck you, Steven.
The funniest
I'm never
part,
making a movie with you again.
The funniest part is that that's also a relevant intro.
Do you not like Steven?
Nah, he loves him. He just can't work with him.
I see.
Today we're gonna be talking about a movie.
He thinks that good acting is going like, hey, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
So today on Pwn, we're gonna be talking about a movie. Usually we talk about a movie that none of us have seen. Now we're gonna talk about a movie none of you have seen.
Oh.
Today we're talking about a little film called Dawn of the
It's
Damned.
not little. It's like 4 hours
It's
long.
a very long, big film. I don't know if you remember a hot lead.
Are you asking me or?
Yes, Wes, I don't know if you remember a hot lead.
I'm trying not to.
There's a movie we made / are making called Dawn of the Damned, and there's a bit of controversy around this film
It's all him.
because
It's his
it
parents.
Literally
doesn't
all him.
because it doesn't exist. I mean, it does exist.
No,
Here's
it's
some
almost.
footage of it right now. But the reason that you
There's
haven't
there's
seen,
nothing here. I don't see any.
I don't know
there's
if you
nothing
know
here.
how editing works.
No, there's no footage. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, so this is a movie that does not officially exist right now. I mean, it exists, but it is not
Maybe
released.
we should back it up for the one person who watches this that doesn't know us personally.
You don't have to know anything yet, but we're just saying this movie we made was supposed to come out in June. Then it was supposed to come out in August. Now it's October, and it's not even done. And today, we're going to be talking about why. This episode is going to be very focused on the things
Wesley.
going on during production, all the issues. We're going to try and stick to as few spoilers as possible. So,
What word did he just say? We're gonna transition. It's true.
Well, because there's two drug cartels, they get intertwined, and some people get screwed
So-
over, and sugar's given, and then because of angry police and the Irish, pretty much.
Nice.
let's start at the very, very beginning. Right before the human trafficking video came out on Pwn, I don't know if you remember that gem. We've just found out that we're going to be doing a video feature film project, right? Joey's initial idea is he comes up to us and is like, hey guys, I got our feature film. I came up with this idea where there's two people in the mob together. They double cross each other without knowing.
Yo, these are spoilers.
No, this isn't a spoiler. This is I'm giving the most basic plot of the film.
They'll forget by the time this comes out.
He proposed this idea to me and Ari, and Ari said, sure.
Wait, what?
But I said, yeah.
When you proposed this idea to me, I had you go through for 30 minutes explaining me the plot, and then I had to go through and help you with 30 plot holes. We'll start from the beginning.
Joey's very proud of his idea, and he comes to Wes and says, hey, I've got an idea. That whole formation process, the early month or so of this film, and of coming up with characters and little plot details. But
Johnny
we
Salami.
did this in Miss Kroger's room, who none of you will know probably, but she is the one responsible for the egg video and for the bowl of
90% of them are
maize.
gonna know who she is, by the way.
Yeah.
90%. Get this wrong.
The original Kroger Club, as we called it, was me, Wes, Joey, Duncan Taylor was there for some reason. Justin kind of just hung around, and Andrew was like, oh, hey guys, I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah. And initially, Duncan had a lot more to do with this film until Joey said no, because Duncan wanted to make a full comedy. He said, kids can't make a serious movie, and maybe he was right.
You baby fucking fetus!
That's
Having
100% true.
With me being the one to see the most of this film, maybe he's right.
Stay in line.
Joey was like, no, man, we can definitely do it.
man.
Joey said, we're not going to do a comedic film. I want this to be full serious. So he kicked Duncan out. And then
Really?
we decided, yeah, this is all true. And the reason we didn't end up making it for the feature film project was that we wanted to make it very violent.
There was no way in heck we're gonna get it done in time.
Yeah, but at the time we didn't realize how long it was going to be because there was no script. But so instead we worked on a hot lead, which went mostly well. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm proud of a hot lead, but I'd say I'm proud of it in the sense that it's, at the time, yes, it's very good, and it's something I can look back on and say, that was good for our level of knowledge. So what we should do next is go all in and make a film 3 times longer with 50,000 characters.
If we had a little bit more time, it would have been a very refined, good movie.
A hot lead is suddenly done, and then we enter summer, and then we come back to Kroger Club. This is gonna be a very expositional episode, I guess. So if you two wanna make it interesting somehow, that'd
you
be very
filmed a
appreciated.
huge party scene at my house.
Okay, we're getting to
And
that.
then-
Me and Wes and Joey did a marathon of sorts of gangster movies, right smack dab in the middle of July. For context for you Pwn viewers, that's I don't know if you've seen Deadly Choices. That is the sketch that we made that night. So we watched Goodfellas, we watched Usual Suspects, we were gonna watch The Godfather, we watched Dark Knight, of course.
All those great mob movies.
Yeah, and then we watched Departed.
The Usual Suspects.
And what's it called? Reservoir Dogs.
2.5 of those are mob movies.
Yeah. I don't know. Joey wanted to watch Usual Suspects. I don't regret it. But so we got this group together. We were kind of throwing out ideas. We recorded the entire process. I've got some clips that I actually selected for this video.
This is hard.
Look, I couldn't give less of a shit what you wear. Just get the stuff and then we'll talk. He turns, sees Frankie, makes eye contact, suddenly nods like, hey babe, how's it going, right? What? Coming up at 7, more on the death of Timothy Tungsten.
God. Coming up at 7, more on the death of Timothy Tungsten at 7. Yeah. Oh my.
We came up with Tommy Salami that night, where we originally had Johnny Salami and Johnny Costello, and Wes was like, Nick, no. Right?
Wait, so there are 2 Johnnies?
Or no, he best.
Yes, there is. There's 2 Johnnies.
No, there's a Johnny Salami and a John. Oh,
Yes, there is. We need to think of another food rhyming name.
Tony Rigatoni.
And also, Johnny doesn't rhyme with salami.
Yeah, so we did Tommy Salami. We came up with Wes being the Don and using a hammer.
And what about Timothy Tungsten?
We came up with the classic pizza line, which we did during the.
I
during
came up with the
Usual
pizza line.
Suspects, yeah. Instead of going right into Kroger Club, which was never going to be the thing that we do, we finished off the summer by starting a different movie that also fell apart, but that was mainly because we wanted to submit it to the film festival, and we kind of ran out of time to reasonably do that. I had like tests and stuff going on, so it was like, okay, we're gonna put this off. So we get to December,
Free Willy.
and we started writing again. It went from like 30 pages to 120, and then by the time that we reached January 1st was the day you received your first draft, right?
Me?
Yeah. That was, I think, 150. You said this makes no sense and this
I
makes
did
no
say that.
sense. So when everything was said
He
and
just
done,
sends it back. This makes no sense.
Who is this character? When did we learn about this? Why is this happening? Why is there a whole subplot of characters that we never see in this movie?
on Wes's recommendations, I added a few things, took a few things out. Despite this being Joey's idea, really, he didn't write very much of the script other than the opening monologue, and even then I completely revised it because it was
It made no
a
sense.
rip-off of, like, Wall Street or whatever.
Do you think it was too long?
Whenever I mention how long this movie is to, like, adults, right, they say, well, now you gotta edit it. And I'm like, no, that's not how this... It's not like it's 3 hours long because I want everything in it. It's 3 hours long because we wrote it in a way where everything's required.
It's
So
because
that
you
is a
made the
factor.
plot too complicated.
It's a very complicated plot, and there's plenty of long movies. A lot of mafia films are very long. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it being long. The question is, will people watch it when it's 3 hours long? Because no one has an attention span. If you want to watch Kroger Club over the course of multiple days.
We're gonna watch it one night.
We're gonna have to do a marathon where it's just one movie.
We wanted to start filming, we being me and Joey, wanted to start filming in February. And Wes was like, no. we gotta go over this script in person and work out every single problem before we start filming. I don't want to start filming till we have a script that makes sense. So we continue to work on
Seems
it.
like a good idea.
We went through all of
That
March.
almost sounds like it'd be common sense.
So we started filming on April 13th, Friday the 13th in 2018. The first day
Okay,
went
throughout
fine.
my entire filming, and I'm a fairly important character, I only interacted with one of the main characters.
It's
and
true.
only saw them once.
So April 13th went like okay, right? We got a whole scene done. It was great. We were all optimistic.
We're going to go through every day.
Nah,
Yes.
we're going through big days.
He brought his calendar like Brett Kavanaugh.
One scene done, and we wanted to get some more done during spring break. Wes was gone, and Steven was gone. Till we realized there is one scene we could film, and we filmed a scene with Lucan at the pool. So that is the first two scenes that we did were with Lucan, and his hair throughout the film is really the signifier of how long it took to finish this film. Because he said, Nick, I'm not cutting my hair till this film is over. And he only recently
I
got a
didn't either.
haircut.
Hey, she ain't here. Finish me off, but
So for a while, nothing really happened. We were kind of like filming every now and again, and Wes wasn't really involved at this point
Yeah,
yet.
I don't think we had
because-
filmed a single scene of that.
Yeah. The first thing we did with Ari was actually a pretty early scene, probably like late April.
Was that the drug deal?
We did the deal, yeah. Or a month and a half in, I mean. We had a lot of this movie. It was maybe 50 minutes long at this point, and there was no plot. We had only filmed like subplot scenes because Joey was always busy or Steven was always busy. We were always doing things on like weekends and Fridays, and we did have a working schedule that I maintain to this day. If not by June, whenever, would have finished early July if we had stuck to that schedule. However, this is when things started to go wrong. So Wes, if you care to talk about some of the things that would go wrong.
Nick was held hostage for 2 weeks.
I was held hostage studying for tests, for the APs. Sure, that worked out.
No, it didn't.
It did.
We-
I got
we-
5s.
Oh.
What didn't work out
in
is
terms of the movie, it didn't
my
work out.
time spent studying for the ACT, which I did, really wasn't even required to do. I said it because I was going to be like, you know what? If this will make you proud, sure, I'll do it. Except then I was forced to study for that for an extensive amount of time. So there'd be 3 weeks where we wouldn't film a single thing. So that's right off the bat 5 weeks completely gone, and then we're in like June, right? Literally the day after my ACT, we go to film the Prince scene. And Prince is the worst thing in this entire shoot that we had to do. The scene itself turned out fine. However, the amount of chaos went into making that scene is we switched actors for the 3 roles that show up there. In the script, it's Carlos, Ray, and Ty. So Josh shows up, Cole doesn't show up. And then we're forced to do something else. We're like, we can't film this scene because we don't have anyone. What do? We make Just an Average Tuesday, which I think Wes is probably pretty happy that day didn't work out.
But you also make another scene.
And we did manage to get something done where we filmed a scene that was going to take place somewhere else.
What?
There was a scene that we filmed in the theater that also went horribly because people didn't show up, and there was a point in the middle where I don't think you were there for this, but Justin was. Steven and Lucan ran off in the middle because they were like, why are we filming this church in a theater? We're going to go film it at the actual church across the street. And I'm like, you dips, we can't film there. It was ridiculous. I was like, what the f*** are you doing? There was a lot of unfinished scenes was the problem, is we'd film without people there. So there was a dinner scene that I think Wes can talk about a bit, that we filmed over, I think, 4 days now. And there's still stuff.
What do you want me to
missing from
talk about? It's just like, no. I'm done with this movie. I filmed all my scenes.
Yeah, all of Wes's stuff is done, but there are certain characters who would not show up. When you watch the movie, whenever that happens, when you see the opening credits, you'll know exactly what was going on during this film, because Cole has a credit really early on, Jack has a big credit early on. Mikey's in the credits and he's not even in it. And I don't want to re-render that whole scene because I don't
Why
have
not?
I don't have the original footage anymore.
So you're telling me that you're giving credit to this guy who is
Yeah,
never appears
Mikey
in this movie.
June comes, we don't have a film, and so then school ends, and we say, maybe we'll get it done in about 2 weeks, right? That also doesn't happen because almost immediately after school ends, Steven has to leave. So we got a lot of stuff done with Joey at Joey's house. That's stuff that Ari could do.
That was a fun filming session.
We filmed a lot at Saratasa, where we filmed scenes for a hot lead. There's a climactic shootout in this film, which I don't think is a spoiler to say. There's a climactic shootout, which was a chaotic day to film. I left at 9 in the morning. I came home at like 10, right? There was just straight 12, 13 hours of filming, where we did get a lot done. We got the whole climax done, and it turned out pretty well. But
It was a good day.
there were main characters who couldn't show up, and then we had like 15, not 15, there were 5 extras, but
We filmed there twice also.
yeah. We filmed the shot with Chris, we filmed the scene with Jack. We go to Sam's house, we film the stuff with Chris. We go to Wes's house, we film the stuff with Chris. Go back down to the canyon, film the shootout for 4 hours. We go back to Sam's house and film the stuff that has to happen there.
What did we eat that day?
I don't think we did. We got the cops called on us too, because Steven has a bit of makeup on him that caused the police to be called on us. And meanwhile, while I'm trying to run around and get stuff done, Lucan decided he was gonna bike up, and so he had all the props on his bike, and he was biking up from the back bay to Sam's house, and it was really chaotic, and we were driving around all over the place. I really didn't want this to happen, but it kind of worked in a way where we did the hot lead thing where I was forced to play characters that people couldn't show up for. There was, where
Nope.
did you go?
Nope.
You know what? It
It's
works
so
fine.
bad. It doesn't work.
Ah, that's great. What, it was a boy or girl? It was a girl. Ah, shit, man. Better luck next time.
It is so obvious in this one conference scene with the Italian mob that the 2 and only 2 actors that ever play Irish mobsters are in
both
this scene.
in it.
I understand.
Okay, not only that, but it's immediately after my scene as my real character. And then, immediately after that, I play a different character. I think a lot of what we're saying about this film makes it sound awful.
Because it is.
Nah, it's actually, having seen a good amount of it, 98% in fact, I can say that it turned out about as well as it is our Apocalypse Now, in the sense that it somehow worked despite all of the pain and spending. I haven't even mentioned there was a day where in the middle of it people left to go eat lunch, and so let's see if I can remember how that day went. I went with Jonathan, Stark, and Grace, and we were driving all over. We come back to Lucan's house where we were gonna film some stuff with Jonathan, and they had just left to go eat lunch for some reason, and I'm like, what are you doing? We're in the middle of a scene. So that ends up wasting 45 minutes, and where have you gone, Wes? What are you doing?
Are you gone?
This is a sad episode, but I'm fine with that, because the next one will be good,
Because
I
the
promise.
last one we made was also just not funny.
This is a little pause in the quality of Pwn, and I apologize for that, but, you know, you do what you have to do. We end up at Joey's house, we do the scene that we have to do there, and then I begin an all-night editing binge. So the second I get home
Because Nick has scheduled the premiere
to 5 in the
2
afternoon
days.
the next day. It was forced to be the next day because of
It
things
was
that
forced to
people-
be the next day.
Yeah, because I had to go to Maryland the day after.
2
Right.
days after.
And so I was editing for so long, and I did get a lot done. I finished 45 to 50 minutes of content that day.
Let's not forget that I also stayed up all night
That's
to
the other
write the
thing.
music.
I was working on it, and then I was like, shit, there's scenes that don't work, right? So I was completely ready to premiere a film that was not completed. Not to say, here's a done film, but just to say, this film does exist, and I'm gonna show all of you so that you realize, hey, maybe if I show up, it'll be done. Even though the people that went to the premiere were not the problems at all. I realized, hey, there's a lot of stuff missing. Not a lot of stuff, but there are scenes that don't make sense. And Wes says, Nick, give me the camera. Me and Joey are gonna go film. They break into Lucan's house. They stand outside of Chris and Kyle's house for 20 minutes for no reason. They break into Lucan's house. They drag him along.
We break into Lucan's house.
They come back to my house a couple
He's
times.
asleep near naked.
Yeah. I think you drove like a good 90 miles that day, just back and forth from Lucan's and all over the place. And I mean, they did a fine job of making things line up. Joey's Irish accent is the worst thing I've ever heard.
I'm sorry?
But what about my? What about my? It's fucking sugar.
Go.
It's fucking sugar!
I didn't realize that was you. I thought that was Lucan.
Let's not leave out the fact that we're going back to Nick's house after we do each thing, because we're dropping off SD cards and getting new ones, and he's slowly getting crazier and crazier. This man has... I don't think he's ever gotten less than 8 hours of sleep ever, because he just is delirious at this point.
The night before, I only got like 5 because I was editing stuff the night before, because that was also a huge day.
He is delirious.
That weekend, I slept
like you don't want to talk to this guy.
6 hours, yeah. I think less so, because in A Hot Lead, there's the whole scene where I go insane about the planes. That was a bit of a meme. This, I think you can genuinely see the light slowly draining from my eyes.
I'm pretty sure, I think we did film you once.
You did. There was a lot of chaos, and then it comes time to export the video, and it won't export at a high quality. We go to the premiere without a film. We have footage
of a conversation that we have. Nick is talking about how he doesn't have a film, and Lucan is like, yeah, I hear you, but how do you not have a film? And Nick's like, I hear you, but like I can't do anything about it.
The silence on the other end of the phone after I make my ultimatum of this film doesn't exist right now, and you just hear this long silence, and I'm like, it's a very depressing making of. But when you watch the movie, really you can't tell. There are scenes where like we had to shoot stuff on different days, or like with Jack being in the conference scene and filming that at lunch, you can't tell at all. It works very well. So when you watch the movie, without the context of stuff that went wrong, you're gonna say, why did this take so long to make? And my goal is to have this poem say, this is why.
So this is our apology.
Yeah, it's less an apology. Yeah, it is an apology, I guess. But it's us saying, you know, Wes, I want you to talk about music for a little while, because Wes is, if you've heard the soundtrack to A Hot Lead, I'll probably put something over it where this is from A Hot Lead. There's a massive jump in quality from A Hot Lead to this, where it goes like, whoa, right? Like the first few tracks he played me, I'm like, this sounds like A Hot Lead. By the end, there are these like complicated synths and like arias he's writing, and there's like a 12-minute long track for the Prince scene, and Tensions Rising is debatably the best thing you've ever made, though I also say that the pool scenes are pretty good.
Wait until the end credits.
He made 2 ringtones for characters in this film that I won't put in here, not because they're spoilers, just because I think that they're fun little Easter eggs, but they're themes to different movies that the characters that have them like, and it's all there's a lot of detail put into this film, an immense amount of detail, and references to A Hot Lead and references to other movies, and a character says Hostile, I'll show you Hostile. It's all great fun. It's a fun movie to watch. I'd say it was fun to make. It was also a nightmare. It was a fun nightmare. It was like, God, I wish I could wake up, but if I'm stuck here, I might as well enjoy it. And I remained weirdly optimistic throughout all of it, even though there was a little voice in the back of my head saying, Nick, you are absolutely batshit crazy now for thinking that this is even remotely possible. And you know what? I did it. So, Ari, come on back, because we're going to talk about... we're going to do a bit of a conclusion. So...
Can I input on anything now?
Yeah.
I like how Nick was just like, Wes, can you talk about music? And then just talks about the music.
Oh, sorry. You can talk
I don't know
We should
much.
do a breakdown on the words said per person.
It's going to be me the whole time.
You'll get to hear more about the music when we do this behind the scenes thing of like documentary that
there's
Luke
a
is
documentary,
making.
yeah.
But
and then we'll probably also make an actual poem about this at some point that's good.
like once the movie comes out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it won't be a real
We'll do it-
poem.
we'll
It'll
do
be
it in analysis.
it'll be a special poem.
For most of the movie, I created the entire soundtrack in one night.
Yes.
Yep.
And it was
He didn't
insane.
need to, but he
all
did.
night on that last
No,
day
I
that
didn't
I
need
was
to
editing.
because I didn't
No,
have
no,
any of
he
the
did.
footage.
Is I would finish a scene, Google Drive it to him, and I'd receive a music dump where he'd send like 5 tracks and say, this is exactly where they line up, throw them in. There's a whole insane scene in the middle of this film where I don't want
Were you
I want
glad
to
at
say
the
as
end of
little
it?
about that as
You
possible,
should've.
but Wes made we had like an ongoing battle over the soundtrack for this scene, and I ended up putting in
And
some
I
of it.
won.
So now that we've given you all this information and 4 people have watched this video, now we gotta say, what next? And the short answer is, we're working on it. The long answer is, we don't know. And the reason
Please be done by the end of November so I can put it on my.
it will be
college
done.
app.
It will be done by the time that our other thing is done.
Great.
Because every scene that's missing,
Which is Thanksgiving, and we're giving that
Yeah.
a hard deadline.
Yes.
That is definitely
that
not gonna
has
be
an
done.
actual deadline and is much shorter.
What's
and
the other thing?
glass boxes. I guess this is
Done by Thanksgiving?
an announcement.
Okay,
It's gotta
we're
be
announcing
because of-
we're making a f***ing new movie.
Yeah, I didn't want to mention it in here because people are gonna be like, "Wow, you can't make one movie now. You're gonna start another. What are you doing?"
Is we done by this Thanksgiving?
Yeah, meaning Dawn of the Damned will also be done by Thanksgiving.
But also meaning that.
Wait, but do we have a lot of footage?
Hey
on
Ari,
for
while we're here,
Glass Box?
would you like to be in this movie?
Really?
It's being done in conjunction with a much shorter, much simpler film with smaller cast, none of the quote-unquote problem actors who I won't name here. There are such minor things missing, but for the sake of having a film that you should actually deserve to watch, a good movie, we are going to finish it.
Because I want to use.
I guess
Love you, buddy.
that's all we have time for on this episode of
This time it's
PWN.
true. We actually don't have any more time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is correct. He's got
And- or
shit,
battery.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we don't have battery, we don't have time. Let's just wrap this up. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you want to see Dawn of the Damned, leave a like and a comment. Maybe subscribe.
Favorite comment from the last video will be right
Right there.
we have an
sponsored
Instagram
by-
sponsored by Arrowhead.
And thank you, Mira, for making this cool hat. It's very nice. It was a present for my birthday, and I quite like it. Wesley, what will we be talking about in the next video?
Gangster movies, I think.
Oh. Well. Happy Halloween.
They're not gonna believe me though.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's
Now that you
it.
said
Are you
that
ready then?
thing. Ready?
Ready?
Pwn.